Hello and welcome to another episode of the News on Map series. If you're new to this channel, let me just give you a gist of how we try to cover the news that has been there buzzing around the world through the help of MCQs. So we will use MCQs related to the news and help you visualize the answer with the help of maps. For those of you who are already engaged in this segment, let us talk about the last week's practice question that I gave you to answer. The question was, which among the following cities will lie approximately on the same latitude as the Chittagong of Bangladesh? These kind of questions could emerge seeing the port investments of China. Other than that, we can also see these questions with respect to the flooding of Bangladesh and the northeastern region of Assam. So please be careful about certain cities which India shares on the same latitude with, of course, other countries which are neighboring in nature. So let us talk about this particular question, solve it with the help of the map. So as you see, I have tried to make a line, a latitude here, and joining Chittagong among the options, okay, Gwalior, Kota, Balasore, Jamnagar. So Gwalior is in Madhya Pradesh and it lies in the northernmost region of Madhya Pradesh. Jamnagar is going to be our correct answer because here it lies on exactly the same latitude as of Chittagong. Okay, so the correct answer will be Jamnagar. I have seen many of you have answered this question correctly. Thank you so much for doing that. Moving ahead, the next question is with respect to a Chinese research vessel. It docked at Sri Lanka's Hambantota port, causing a lot of worry for India and the US. Now, Yuan Wang 5, which is a dual usage vessel of China, apart from doing scientific researches, it can also involve into military usage, spying as well. And that is why it becomes of utmost importance for India to keep up with this news. So moving ahead, let us look at this question. From west to east, that means from left to right, okay? Arrange the following ports of different countries which have Chinese investments in them. So China has invested in a lot many ports. That is why it is important for you to know the locations of such ports. The first one is Gwadar Port, Sokhna Port, Khalifa Port, Hambantota Port and Pera Port. Gwadar Port, as we all know it, lies in Pakistan. And the other fourth one also we know it lies in Sri Lanka. Some are not very famous. For your, for your examination purpose, you have to know that which are the ports that have Chinese investments in them so that India can also keep up. Next, if you give this examination, you can become an IFS officer as well. So you have to keep up. So moving ahead here only, I have a map that has been sourced from Gateway House. Gateway House is a very important website for those who are preparing for international relations, political science, and for GS as well. So Sokhna Port, it is a port which lies in the country of Egypt. It has Chinese investment in there. Apart from that, we have Khalifa Port, which is in the UAE, and the Gwadar Port in Pakistan, Karachi, of course, but the question was asking about certain ports. Then we have Hambantota Port, and then we have Pera Port in Bangladesh. So first will be Sokhna, then Khalifa, then Gwadar, then Hambantota, and then Pera. Always work with the longitudes when such questions are asked. So Sokhna will be first, 2. Then after that we had Khalifa Port, 3. Then after that we have Gwadar Port, that is 1. Then we have Pera Port, that is 5. Then we have Hambantota Port, and then we have Pera Port. So 2, 3, 1, 4, 5 is the correct answer. That is our option D. Okay. So these kind of questions could be asked in your examination. Now, Arctic near surface air temperature warms much faster than the global average, a phenomenon known as Arctic amplification. I have also covered about Arctic amplification in one of our in-news series. So it's a very interesting segment. Do watch it. Why? Because Arctic amplification, apart from having an impact on the rest of the world, it will have an impact on the rainfall in India as well. So that I have covered very concisely in the segment of in news. Okay, moving ahead from this question, from this news, we have a question. Laptev Sea is a part of Mediterranean Sea, Caribbean Sea, Arctic Ocean, Antarctic Ocean. So here we have the water bodies of the Arctic Ocean, of which Laptev Sea is a part. And other than that, we also have Barents and Kara Sea. This is the region which is, seeing a lot of upwelling, and convectional rain could occur here because of the warming up of the Arctic Ocean. This, apart from that, Lincoln Sea, Beaufort Sea, Chukchi Sea, these all are a very important part of the Arctic Ocean. So these kind of questions could be asked. The correct answer here would be option C, Arctic Ocean. Alright, so let's also talk about the next news, that is, talks come as the world powers await Iran's response to what the European Union calls its final proposal to revive the landmark 2015 nuclear accord. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which wants to limit the Iranian nuclear program, the final talks of it are in the ongoing process. We all know America, during the tenure of Donald Trump, unilaterally pulled out of the agreement, which led to Iran enriching its uranium at a much faster rate. So P5+1 or JCPOA is the Iran nuclear deal. We have to consider the following pairs: nuclear facility and the country to which it belongs. First one is Bushehr, that belongs to Saudi Arabia. Yongbyon belongs to North Korea. Rivno belongs to USA, and Tokai to Japan. So how many pairs is or are correct? We have to see. Only one, only two, only three, all four pairs. This is based on the recent pattern of the UPSC examination. So Bushehr is actually a nuclear facility of the country of Iran. Apart from that, Arak, Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan, these are also very important nuclear facilities of Iran. So first pair is not correct. Then we have Yongbyon, that belongs to North Korea. Then we have another another nuclear facility, Rivno, that belongs to the country of Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine are engaged in a war, so this could be asked as well. Then we have Tokai, that belongs to Japan. Okay, so here the question asked us how many pairs were correct. So first is of course not correct, then Yongbyon correct, Rivno belongs to Ukraine, and Tokai belongs to Japan. So only two are correct. The correct answer would be only two pairs, right? Moving on, now let's discuss the news, which is a foot inside of a shoe that was found floating in the hot spring earlier this week in Yellowstone National Park is believed to be connected to an individual's death on July 31st. So this particular news might not be very important, but what is important, we know about certain regions of US and Canada. With respect to North America, consider the following statements. The Canadian Shield is restricted only to Canada. Yellowstone National Park is a part of the Rocky Mountains. Greenland is a part of the continent of North America. Let us see how many of them are correct. As you see, in the eastern region of Canada and also the United States, we find the Canadian Shield. So Canadian Shield is spread across not only the states of Canada, like others, Manitoba, Alberta, Northwest Territories, Nunavut, but also the regions of United States such as Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, New York. So first statement becomes incorrect. Talking about the second one, yes, Yellowstone National Park is a part of the Rocky Mountains, and here lies the Appalachian Mountains. So second statement is correct. Let's talk about the third. The island of Greenland is a part of the continent of North America by geography, but geopolitically it is a part of Europe. It is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark, but since 2000, late 2000s, it has gotten its autonomy, so it works autonomously. So yes, only the second and the third are correct. Two statements only will be the correct answer. Alright, moving ahead to our next set of news. The news here, UAE ambassador to Iran to return 6 years after relations severed. Erdogan said Turkey did not want to seize Syrian territories as the Syrian opposition fears a potential deal between Ankara and Damascus. We all know that West Asia is always in the news because it has so many countries which are still dealing with past tensions. So the water body and bordering countries, these have been paired. We have to see which of the pairs are not correct. The water body, bordering country. Mediterranean Sea, Iraq and Jordan. Persian Gulf, Qatar and UAE. Aral Sea, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan belongs to Central Asia. Red Sea, Oman and Saudi Arabia. Let us see the map. So this map shows us the water bodies that have been asked in the question. Mediterranean Sea lies over here, having a border with Turkey, if we talk about Middle East or West Asia only. Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine. So here we know for sure that certain countries, but not Iraq and Jordan. You see, Jordan is here, but it does not have a border with the Mediterranean Sea. Iraq, the same for that. Right? So first is definitely not correct. Then comes Persian Gulf, Qatar and UAE. So here is Persian Gulf, here is Qatar, and here is UAE. Second pair is correct. Then we have the third pair, which is Aral Sea, that is in Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. Aral Sea over here, Kazakhstan over here, and Uzbekistan. It is between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, not Kyrgyzstan. So third pair is not correct. Then Red Sea, Oman and Saudi Arabia. Here is Red Sea, having a border with Saudi Arabia, but not Oman, Yemen. Okay, so only the second pair is correct, but first, third and fourth are not correct. So 1, 3 and 4 is going to be our correct answer. Alright, moving ahead to the next set of news and question, because it will ask you about the Rhine River or the countries which are associated with it. Consider the following statements with respect to Rhine River. The French Alps is the source of the river. It gathers volume from Lake Constance, which lies entirely in Germany. It flows through 6 countries in Europe and drains into the North Sea. These are our statements. So here we have to, of course, visualize it with the help of maps. Rhine River has its source in the Swiss Alps. Swiss Alps, not the French Alps. So first statement is not correct. Yes, it gathers its volume. It starts as a very small stream, but volume has been gathered by draining off, by getting the river into the Lake Constance. So Lake Constance basically not entirely lies in Germany, but it lies in Switzerland, Austria and Germany. So second statement is not correct and not is the first statement. So here, not correct, not correct. It flows through 6 countries in Europe and drains into the North Sea. So yes, here is the North Sea. It drains into the North Sea, that is correct. And yes, it goes through 6 countries, namely Switzerland, Luxembourg, Austria, Germany, France and Netherlands. Okay, so first is Switzerland. I'm just writing the first 2 letters. Then we have Liechtenstein. Then we have Austria. And then we have France. Then we have Germany. And then last we have Netherlands. So yes, 6 countries and drains into the North Sea. The correct answer will be only the third is correct, right? So the correct answer will be option C, 3 only. Moving ahead to our next set of questions. Horn of Africa drought places 22 million people at risk of starvation. It is said by the United Nations. So here we have a question. Which of the countries, following country or countries are a part of the Horn of Africa? Kenya, Somalia, Sudan, Eritrea. So we have to select the answer using the codes. One thing, please keep in mind that there are 4 countries which are definitely a part of Horn of Africa. That is Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Somalia. But apart from that, even if we talk about Kenya, Sudan, Somalia and South Sudan, these countries are also a part of the larger definition of it as given by the official website of Horn of Africa Initiative, it has stated that these are other important regions: Kenya, South Sudan, Sudan, and even Somaliland as well, which is disputed. So all the countries, by the larger definition, are a part of the Horn of Africa. Somalia, Kenya, Sudan, Eritrea. You can go and visit the website of Horn of Africa Initiative, from where we have sourced our question answer. Because whenever these sorts of question are going to be asked, always try to look at the official sources. D is the correct answer. Moving ahead to our next set of questions. India and US to hold high altitude military exercise near LAC amidst rising tension with China. So here we are going to have our question with respect to border states of China. A person travels from Arunachal Pradesh to Ladakh using only land route and avoids crossing over to the international borders. As the person needs to reach Ladakh at the earliest, what is the minimum number of states that they will come across? So we have to exclude Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh over here, as it is given in the bracket. Let us look at our map. Person has to move from Arunachal Pradesh, which is the eastern sector of the LAC, to the western sector of LAC, most western, that is Ladakh. Okay, so person crosses first. The person will need to reach Ladakh at the earliest, so the person has to ensure that they get through the minimum number of borders. First will be Assam, from here West Bengal, Sikkim does not need to be crossed. Then we have Bihar, so 1, 2 and 3, then Uttar Pradesh, and then we will go to Himachal Pradesh, because Uttar Pradesh has a border with Himachal Pradesh as well. Then we won't go to Uttarakhand. Okay, and then finally Ladakh. So how many states? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, excluding the destination and the home. 5 is going to be the correct answer. Alright, option A. So these kind of questions could come. Moving ahead, we have to match the pairs, consider the pairs and match them, because this is a question which goes like this. Alright, so let us look at the question. Baralacha, Sikkim, Aghil Pass, Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh, Lipu Lake, Arunachal Pradesh, Jelepla, Uttarakhand and Sela Pass, Ladakh. Let us see the passes with the help of the map. So here is Baralachala, which is joining the Manali region of Himachal Pradesh and Leh of Ladakh. So it is in Ladakh and Himachal Pradesh. Okay. Then Sela Pass lies in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. Then we have, I think, Lipu Lake is in Uttarakhand. Then we have Jelepla and Nathula. Jelepla is actually in Sikkim, and one more was there, Aghil Pass, which is in Ladakh. Okay, so let us see and match them. So A, let me write it: A, B, C, D and E. A is Baralachala, which is of course Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh, so 2. Then we have Aghil Pass, which is in Ladakh, that is 5. Then we have Lipu Lake, which is in Uttarakhand, that is 4. Then we have Jelepla, which is in Sikkim, 1. And then we have Sela Pass, which is in Arunachal Pradesh. So 2, 5, 4, 1, 3 is our correct answer. 2, 5, 4, 1, 3. Option C is our correct answer. Moving ahead to our next set of questions. World Elephant Day. Tamil Nadu takes a leap in conservation. Agasthyamalai Reserve for tuskers notified. That means it will be an elephant reserve, Agasthyamalai Tiger Reserve and Agasthyamalai Biosphere Reserve. So for this we have a question. It is located in the Western Ghats. It encompasses tropical forest ecosystem that fall within 2 states. Okay, this is your first hint. Second hint after Western Ghats. 3 wildlife sanctuaries as well as the Kalakkad Mundathurai Tiger Reserve are located within this Biosphere Reserve. Which Biosphere Reserve is this? So you can do it with elimination method as well, because Gulf of Mannar of course is entirely lying in one state, that is Tamil Nadu. Sheshchalam again does not actually have 3 wildlife sanctuaries and Kalakkad Mundathurai Tiger Reserve. Agasthyamalai Biosphere Reserve and Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve are of course our good contenders for this answer. But if you know one thing for sure, that 3 important wildlife sanctuaries such as Shandarni, Peppara and Nayyar, it lies within this Agasthyamalai Biosphere Reserve. This is the correct answer. As you see, Agasthyamalai Biosphere Reserve has Sherduni, Peppara and Nayar Wildlife Sanctuary. Apart from that, it also has the Kalakkad Mundathurai Tiger Reserve over here. And that makes the question very easy for us to understand or very easy for us to solve. Agasthyamalai Biosphere Reserve is the correct answer. Okay, moving ahead to the next question. Dozens of people have been killed and many are feared dead in flash floods and landslides triggered by intense monsoon rain in northern states of India. Specifically, they are related to cloudbursts and flash floods, which we have covered in our in-news segment. Go and watch that as well. Consider the following statements with respect to Himachal Pradesh, because Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jammu Kashmir, these are the affected states. Most of all are Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. The Pong Dam is situated on the Ravi River. The Sutlej River flows between Bias and Ravi River in Himachal Pradesh. The Parvati Parbat lies to the north of Rangrik Ram. So we have to select the not correct statement over here. How many statements are not correct over here? So here is Pong Dam, which lies on the Bias River, okay, and not Ravi. First statement becomes incorrect, okay. Sutlej River flows between Bias and Ravi. Here is Sutlej River and it flows to the south of Bias and not between Ravi. Ravi is over here, so that becomes incorrect. Govind Sagar Reservoir is on the Sutlej River, remember. Second statement is not correct. Then the Parvati Parvat lies to the north of Rangrik Rang. This is correct. Parvati Parvat lies over here to the north of Rangrik Rang Peak. Okay. So only the third statement is correct and first and second are not correct. That means we had to select how many statements are not correct. 2 statements only is going to be the correct answer. Moving ahead. New shipbuilding facility inaugurated in Havra to serve National Waterway sector. We all have questions with respect to highways, roadways, but what about waterways? That also needs to be understood. National Waterway and rivers we have to match. National Waterway 4, Krishna Godavari. National Waterway 100 is on the Tapi River. National Waterway 68 is on the Amba River and National Waterway 97 is on the Sundarban Waterways. For this we have a map. Let us see. National Waterway 4 is on the Krishna and Godavari River. That is definitely correct. Okay. Then we have National Waterway 100 which is on the Tapi River. So that is also correct. This one is correct and so is National Waterway 4. Then we have National Waterway 68. National Waterway 68 is actually on the Mandovi River. So that is not correct. And National Waterway 97 is on the Sundarban's Waterway. Okay. So apart from the third pair, every other pair is correct. So 1, 2 and 4 is going to be the correct answer. That is option C. Alright. Moving ahead to the next question. Next question is with respect to UPSC Prelims of 2022. The term Levant, often seen or heard in the news, roughly corresponds to which of the following regions? Region along the eastern Mediterranean shores, region along North African shores stretching from Egypt to Morocco, region along the Persian Gulf and Horn of Africa, and the entire coastal Mediterranean Sea of areas. So let us see. Here is the erstwhile kingdoms of the eastern region of the Mediterranean Sea. Now it consists of modern day Israel, Jordan, Palestine, Syria. And Levant region roughly corresponds to only the eastern region of the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so remember that. First option is correct, region along the eastern Mediterranean shores. Now let us look at the practice question for our next segment. Okay, consider the following statements with respect to Tigray region. Apart from Eritrea and Ethiopia, it also has a border with Sudan. It is situated to the south of Amhara region of Ethiopia. It is bordered to the east by the Red Sea. We have to select the correct statement. How many are correct? Okay, so that's it for today. Next time we shall come up with the answer of this particular question. Stay engaged, stay updated, and thank you so much for watching.